Here we are with a hands-on of the LG Optimus L7 or the LG-P700 as it might well be known to yourself. So it's an Android handset that sits in the middle of the range for LG. There are lower L series devices, but then you've got the higher end devices like the Optimus 4X. So what you get, it's an Android smartphone with version 4 installed. We've got a 1 GHz processor. And then running around the device and the actual hardware itself, on the back we've got a 5 megapixel autofocus camera with LED flash. If we remove the back cover, we'll see that we've actually got a standard SIM card slot. We've got a micro SD card slot. We've then got a removable battery, which has a capacity of 1700 milliamp hours. So that's quite a lot to actually get you through a day for most people on this device. It's got a 4.3 inch capacitive touchscreen display, and that has a resolution of 800 by 400, and it's got Nova high brightness, so it's a technology that LG used to make the screen really quite bright. And if we just it's just going to reboot because we took the battery out, but we'll show you how bright that screen is. We've got a physical button here, and then we've got a capacitive button here and here that will illuminate once the device is powered on. We've got a front-facing VGA camera. It's quite a nice sort of finish to it. It feels solid in the hand. The back cover is plastic, but it's got a raised and grippy sort of texture there, which is good, so it doesn't slip out of your hand. On the side we've got a volume up and down rocker key. On the top we've got a 3.5mm audio jack. We've then got the power button here, and we've got this sort of silver bezeling to the top of the device, which is reminiscent of the LG Prada, which it makes the device look more expensive than it actually is. And then on the bottom we've got the micro USB charging port. There's a microphone there as well. We've got the loudspeaker on the back, and that's really about it. So this is a pre-production unit, so doesn't have the final software on it, but it is the final hardware. Internal to the device there is a 4 gigabytes of internal memory, and there's a 1 gigahertz processor, so it's more than capable of doing everything that you actually need. You've got Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, GPS as you'd come to expect on a phone like this, all weighing in at 121 grams. So let's start off by going into the settings so that you can just see what we're actually talking about here. So there you go, it's Android version 4.1, and it's the LG P700. So we've got the back button to the right hand side here. Let's just take a look at the language options whilst we're here. So the default language is English, but you can change some of the menus to one of the languages as shown. So those are the languages you can actually use to change the menu system, but we can then go into the keyboard languages here. Let's go LG keyboard, and then we can change the writing languages. So if you wish to write in a different language to English, you can choose from this list here for the different keyboard layouts. So we could select a couple for demonstration purposes. So you've got a much greater range of languages on here for actual writing, including some of the Middle Eastern languages as well. So let's come out of the keyboard and language settings. Let's make sure the display is up at full brightness so you can really appreciate the screen. So there we go. Now I don't know how well that really comes out on camera, but you can certainly see when you're sat here using the device that the screen is particularly bright. It's not going to blow you away like the high-end devices like the 1X and the 4X and some other Samsung devices that have Super AMOLED, but for a device that comes in well under £250, this isn't bad at all. So we've got the phone dialer here, and because we've got a nice big screen on this device at 4.3 inches, it's nice and easy to type numbers in there. We can of course sync this up with Google and download our contacts or Facebook or even Twitter contacts now with the integration through the apps. This button here works as a menu button, so you can go in and change some of the settings. Or we've got this one here in the middle, which is essentially is the home key. So if we go into the messaging application and we were to start a new message, so we've got the English keyboard there. It's in portrait mode at the moment, but we can orientate it to landscape. A little bit of lag there. That'll hopefully be not a bit quicker in the final production unit. So we can type away on the touch screen, or we can then change the language on the keyboard as selected from the settings. So if we prefer to write in a different language, we can, and the keyboard changes accordingly. So that's fairly straightforward there. Let's come out of that. Let's go and have a look at some of the applications. So you'll get the standard sort of features like an alarm clock. We've got an app manager here, the web browser, a calculator. We've got the camera, which we'll come to in a moment. This device does have NFC. Now NFC's capabilities are fairly limited at the moment, but they are increasing in the UK through from smart posters and tags that allows you to touch your device against the poster or the tag and tell it to do something. We've got music, we've got Google Maps and navigation on here, Google search, we've got Polaris Office, which is nice, so if you're often on the road with your email and get documents that you need to view or edit, you can do with Polaris Office. Google Talk, we've got YouTube, we've got weather, and you can sort of, with Ice Cream Sandwich, refine the apps based on these tabs at the top, and then we've got widgets that we can choose to add to our home screen. So we could have this, and I can go and add it to one of my home screens where I've got space. There we go, so I can pop that in there. Because I haven't set up an email account, it won't let me actually add it. Let's just go and take a quick look at the web browser. So this is a full 3G enabled device. We're connected over Wi-Fi at the moment. Okay, so we've navigated to the Clove website. Now it's come up with our mobile website here, which is designed for easier viewing and browsing on a mobile screen, but we can go to the full desktop site as you'd see on a computer or laptop screen. So that's just going to load through there. Now we've got this sort of little menu system down here on the LG that we can pull up and down like so. We can click this button to get more options here, and I kind of like the fact that we've got this sort of menu button here. It makes things a little bit easier to actually do certain things and navigate to sort of favourite activities. So there's the website loaded up. We can pinch and zoom on here. We can orientate it into landscape mode as well. If I was just to click on a product, so we go up to a page that's got some text and give you an example of what this actually looks like on screen. So the text is readable on the screen here, but it would be nice if it was a bit bigger, so we should be able to double tap in there and it resizes and zooms in on the text. If we want to go in bigger, we can pinch and zoom, and then of course we can rotate back round as well. So that's the web browser, fairly standard experience as you would get on an Android device. let's just go in and take a look at the camera. So it's a 5 megapixel camera on the back of this device. LG's cameras tend to be okay. So we've got the ability to swap between the front-facing VJ camera and the rear-facing 5 megapixel camera. We've got the ability to change the zoom. We've got the ability to change the brightness. We've got different options for shooting, so most people are going to be in normal mode. And then we've got continuous shot or panorama, which is nice to see those options. And then we've got some more settings around the flash. We've got focus settings, the image size, if you want to make smaller images to save memory on the device. Of course, you've got 4 gig internal, and you can expand that with a micro SD card, so best to shoot in 5 megapixels if you can. Different scene modes, so you can help the camera out to try and get that better picture. For the more advanced photographer, you can set the ISO, the white balance. You've got some effects. You've got a timer. You can tag your location with GPS position. You've got shutter sounds, auto review, whether you see the picture afterwards or not. So you can come out of that. We can then flick between the camera and the video camera. So you'll see how the layout on screen changes a little bit. Rather than a camera button, we've now got this sort of record button. And then again, we've got the similar sort of settings that we can actually change on the camcorder as we can with the camera. A few differences here that, for example, we can switch off audio recording when actually doing the video, so it just simply takes footage. And then once we've taken a picture or a video, we can review it through the gallery. So if we were just to take a picture, and interestingly, you can use the volume keys on the side of the device to control the zoom, so that's handy as well. There is no dedicated camera button, as you can see, so you actually have to use the screen here. So let's So it's not the fastest to capture the picture, it's not slow, it just takes half a second or so, and then we can go into the actual gallery and review the picture here. So we can tap on that and we can zoom in like so. If we want, we can delete it, or we can share it through one of the services. If you've got Facebook and Twitter linked up, of course you could do that too. So that is just a quick hands-on with the LG Optimus L7. For more information, check out www.clove.co.uk or blog.clove.co.uk as well. Thanks for watching.